Good morning. This is Sean with Learning to Take Money. Heading into work again, and I got a little something I want you guys to think about throughout the day. What's going on in the banking industry currently is an extremely interesting scenario, although it is a repetitive one. So if anybody's got any money in the bank, which I'm sure a lot of you do, hopefully not the ones currently involved in the situation at hand, but I'm sure you've got an account. If you were a younger individual, like much of us were when we created these accounts, you've probably had days where you didn't have much money, and you've probably had days where you might have overdrafted that money. Well, if you borrowed maybe $4 more than you actually had in your account, $3 more, shoot, even $1 over, it doesn't really matter. You're going to be hit with what's called an overdraft fee. $30, $40, I've seen as bad as $50 on some of them. And the point that I'm trying to make is, as soon as you make one foul move, they're going to take money from you that they know you don't have, and they do not care how you feel about it. But isn't it funny how when a bank doesn't make proper decisions, proper investment strategies, and doesn't put the things in place to prevent money from disappearing on their own terms, that they still get bailed out by the federal government? It's kind of disgusting. Now, who pays the federal government? That's you, that's me, that's our taxes. Who's responsible for making sure that the federal government has the money? Well, just the federal government. The unfortunate reality is that there is nobody else around that pays for these mistakes other than you and me, the citizen. Unfortunately, they throw our money around willy-nilly and they don't really give a damn how we feel about it. Much like the banks when we do an overdraft. So in today's current environment, they're trying to convince us that there is no bailout. But it is all bailout. Every piece of it, every bit of it. The Fed doesn't make any money. It only takes money from us. Now this channel is Learning to Take Money. That's the title of it. They should probably change it to Learning How to Keep Your Money at this point, because it seems to be extremely difficult no matter which direction you take. Even if you're financially responsible and fiscally responsible and you make proper investments, you're probably still going to get taken. Now, as the market crashes, keep a cool head. Pay attention to quality investments. Look for small startup companies that make a lot of sense. Wait until this thing starts to tank, because it hasn't yet. We've only just begun, unfortunately. Now, there was a man that warned us about all of this. We won't get into all of that. But I do want you to look into a certain specific individual. His name is Jamie Dimon. Now, Jamie Dimon, extremely rich individual. Jamie Dimon made his first appearance publicly, technically, back in 2008 when Washington Mutual, the Bank of Seattle, ended up having its bank runs and its bank crash. Now, Bear Stearns was a massive name back then that was involved in a whole lot of problematic situations when it came to finance. There was a whole lot of people that told you to invest in Bear Stearns right before it crashed. I'll name one, Jim Cramer. And he's still in business, trying to convince people to take investments that are terrible ideas. For instance, just a week before the most recent bank crash with SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, he also recommended to his constituents and everybody on Mad Money who watches his news TV channel to invest in SVB. It was a great idea. Well, yet again, another one bites the dust. Now, SVB's parent company decided to file for bankruptcy today, which is pretty traditional for this type of situation. But the reason I bring up Jamie Dimon is that Jamie Dimon is taking it upon himself to yet again get in front of the whole situation, sit down with Janet Yellen, sit down with Jamie Powell, and come up with a financial plan, so to speak, to where he can borrow money from other major banks and get that money into his bank so that he doesn't crash as well. Jamie Dimon owns the number 14 largest bank in the U.S. Now, Jamie Dimon's also the biggest snake currently around outside of stocks and bonds. Now, what's taken place recently is that he's managed to get about $40 billion through multiple different banks so that he can get that deposited into his bank and move money around to keep his bank alive. So yet again, he couldn't meet deposits. He overdrafted and he got bailed out by other banks. They just paid him. Uninsured money, no less. Now, it definitely has to sit in an account for 120 days and follow the same uninsured money technicalities that our money does. It has to earn interest at the same rate that our money does. But what stands to reason is that as these banks crash, they will be bailed out. And as you crash, you will not. So what's the safe play? Get out of the banks. Stop putting your money in these people's pockets. We have got to stop giving them money twice. You pay tax, and then they pay your tax to take your money. It's just a round robin of crap. Keep your head on straight. Pay attention to what's going on. Look up these names that I've mentioned. There's a lot more to what I'm saying, and I just don't want to say it here. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.